This is Topical Issues once more. And today I'm going to talk about something that has been making my mind wander. The topic is the underworld. It's a very interesting place. The Egyptians would talk of an underworld where when people died, they would be confined in darkness. There is a mention of an underworld in the Bible. When Jesus died, he went to Hades, where he took the keys from the devil. That is the Bible. In the Egyptian mythology, in that Christian story, there is talk of an underworld. There is talk in the Bible of Jesus being taken at the pinnacle of a temple and being asked to look across, and the devil would give him everything if he bowed down to him. There is the talk of the God of this world has everything that was being shown, but there is the God above. There is the talk of Operation High Jump, was it Captain? Going to the South Pole, and a certain opening being there where his aeroplane was guided without him piloting it, and he went to a crystal city. There is talk of people saying that there are certain kinds of jinns. These are spiritual beings, spiritual entities that are able to get minerals and money for people when people give them certain sacrifices in return. They are able to harness that power. There is talk of the underworld and the ruler of the underworld. A Greek god with a black beard, with a trident. Yes, his name is Hades. The one who controls the underworld, the one who controls all the mineral resources. In the process of whatever has been happening to me, there were talks about cenotes. I realized cenotes are deep water openings that are so deep, and the indigenous Americans would color people blue with blue clay and throw them down those openings as sacrifice. They are called cenotes. It comes to my attention, there is one Native American god called Chuck, and now others call him a rain maker. Others call him a money maker. That when certain sacrifices are given to Chuck, then one is entitled to get property, diamonds, gold, and money itself gives one that ability. This has been making me wonder, how is it that there are so many similar things being talked about the underworld? It's interesting that in the Viking stories there is a saying that whatever is above, so is it below. That thing kept my mind moving. And as I tried to think, because there was a time I'd watched a video about a place of fear, a place called ZIBALBA in Central America, the country of Belize. It was a long time since I watched that video. I told you it's in my computer, which I can't access because it is under the threat of damage. And somebody had researched on Belize and ZIBALBA in Belize, the place of fear. There is an opening that has got underground caverns. They move on and on and on and on, and nobody has been able to go far. I don't know if it is closed now to people getting in, but it was, as you move from place to place, you find pots and skulls of people and sacrifices. You move along and find skulls and sacrifices and broken pots. Sacrifices of skulls of children, skulls of grown-ups. Then, as I pursued, I came to a place where there was a discussion by the people who used to live there that there were stories. Is it folklore? That there were people who would travel under in ZIBALBA. And it's a long, long journey. After a long, long journey, you will meet people who are bigger giants and a light like a sun under the earth. And as one goes deeper, you will come upon fire on the rocks, but then within other areas, you'll find greenery, with fruits being a small fruit that grows up being almost several times the size. A very productive place with strange looking people and strange looking buildings, like buildings made from precious stones, those who live there. And they could communicate with the people their normal language. This left me wondering, could bad underground visit, could the ancients underground visit be giving us another dimension that is on this earth, or a reality of something that we don't understand, a pothole sort of thing, that when you go there, you find things are better, are cooler, but just like they are on the surface of the earth, so are they in there. Because there's talk of trees that grow, there is talk of fruits, there are talk of springs, and there is talk of light like the sun. There is talk of precious stones building houses, buildings, and talk of tall people with strange powers. I don't know if it's folklore, but there are many, many connections of these things. Talk of underground world. What could this underground world be? What could be this city, Crystal City, that a bird who is denied to ever have existed, and the operation that never took place, may have gone to? Could it be another dimension? Could it be other entities? Who is this Hades that was talked about in folklore from different places? And why did they apportion the underworld to him? Because they say Hades, that is in folklore, had a trident. He could strike things with a trident and change them or make them disappear. But he's supposed to be the owner of all the minerals. And then you find the Bible talking of the God of this world. And you find places talking of Hades, a place of darkness. And now in Belize, ZIBALBA is supposed to be a place of fear, because they were sacrificing for fierce entities that would come from the underworld. What is this underworld? Is the world an iron core and fire? Or could the world have a dimension that few people are exposed to, that can coexist with what we see, but we don't understand? It gives me this problem. There was a time when I bought something during a crisis. It was a phone. And that was the time when I was having my own problems, but there was some money that was to come and take care of certain thing. I was taken and bought up another phone, because the phone I was having problems. And something happened that had to make me go back to town. And I went along the same place, and could not find where I had bought that several times. Then went back a different way, and then came again with that thought of breaking everything in the mind, smash everything, break everything. And strange enough, it was like my eyes were opened. I was able to get a place where I had bought with a lot of ease. And I'd been passing, and my eyes were not seeing. And I was seeing the same street, same things happening. But I could not be able to see that. There was somebody who was talking of a place of the spirits in Tanzania. What do they call it? That certain people, they call it a place of the witches. What is this name? A place of the witches that you cannot be able to access in our physical bodies, but is it Cambodia or Cambodia? Something of the sort. I can't remember. I can't get the very word. But in this place, those who have got those paranormal activities are able to get there, and they are just cities like here, with names that resemble, with wealth that resemble. Folklore. Several people have talked about it. And one wonders. Others have even insinuated that they have been under the ocean, and strange enough, it's not under the water. A city under there. Could it be a dimension that at times can be open to people with certain paranormal powers that we cannot be able to access? We cannot be able to share. Because it is interesting. I had somebody from Tanzania talking about jinns, a Muslim cleric, but he specializes in this topic of jinns. And strange enough, he was saying that for those who are exposed to this other dimension, will realize that the number of jinns exceed the number of humans by several numbers. And jinns in their this, what did I call it, dimension, coexist and build structures that are highly advanced, structures that will amaze you. They are very good engineers. They live a long time, but they eventually also die. But they live a long time. And then they're able to do all those things. And that some people who engage in construction and have the paranormal view, there are times when they leave structures that are highly advanced, they construct to a place, and there are times when certain powers help them in making things that one may see as impossible. I have kept wondering, could there be other dimensions within, leave alone wherever we are saying, that in our normal state we cannot be able to access? But with opening paranormal powers or abilities and other things that we may not be able to understand, we can be able to access. That within the same environment you are, there may be another existence that is alien to you, invisible to you, because your functions cannot be open to that area. I kept asking myself that question. I've kept asking myself that question. Those who claim they also have their property in the other world. Others talk under the sea, others talk just across. But a world that you cannot be able to access when you see there's nothing. But then and those things are actual physical. So this thing of dimensions, could there be a truth in it? Or is it just wild imagination? I'm not saying I know anything much. I'm not saying they are right or they are wrong, because they say they access. They're able to do it, they're able to access, and actually access. And in those places, those who access them have immense wealth. So they can even be able to come to this visit and still go to the other place where they have the immense wealth. But we cannot be able to go to where they go. This is something I would like us to think about. This is something I would like people to inquire. Because it is difficult that you get lost in the street and you pass and everything you see and when you go and sort of meditate and try to get into that breaking the spell, you easily find it. It's as if you are not gotten lost. It's as if you are operating on a same street, but everything else was different. And now suddenly it is open. Is it something that gets into people's minds? Is it something that is physical? And why is it that there have been talk in Asia, in other places, of underground people? Even other people talking of snake people? And certain places being kept off because people think that there may be underground entrances, underground entities. Those are the underground. But also about the dimension. Could they be that within the same existence, two things may be happening and one is not aware of the other if you don't have the abilities to enter into the other realm? That is something that has kept me wondering. That is something that we should all think about. Find out, is it myth? Is it reality? Is it that we don't know and there may be such a things? It is a thing that leaves one wondering, but there are things that we should think seriously about. Because places like Belize, places like these stories of people going underground, stories of Hades being in charge of the underground and being in charge of all the minerals and the wealth, and stories of the Bible about the God of this world. Something to ponder on. Could these things be true? Or are they myth? That's my take for now.